Oh my goodness, look at all those people in there. Howdy, everybody. Okay. Sky in there already, and Sabbath. Oh my goodness, what was that? Colby, which probably means Ashley and Colby.
Possibly.
Yep. All right. And that Fire of Yah character.
I don't know who that is.
Okay. So let's go back all the way to chapter 21. And I was reading, so I didn't take any notes. So what do you got on that?
Well, the one thing that I got was the baldness and the corner of the beard thing.
What about it?
That really it was, a lot of times and I do this and I'm really bad about it, we don't read the whole context of what it's talking about.
And what was the context you were missing?
The context is to be defiled for the dead among his people.
Who?
For not shaving the head or cutting the side of the beard. It was for the dead.
Yeah.
So apparently there's a worship practice that they do that.
Yeah. But who's this to? That's what caught my attention.
The priests.
Sons of Aaron.
Sons of Aaron.
Yep. The priests and just the priests.
Huh. I didn't see that.
Right? And the Lord said unto Moses, the very first verse, speak unto the priests, the sons of Aaron, and say unto them. And that's where it starts. There shall be none defiled for the dead among his people. In fact, this whole chapter doesn't
Pretty much to the priests.
Doesn't marry a whore, doesn't marry a divorced woman, doesn't marry a woman that's put away.
Mary's a virgin, and out of her father's house.
And it also says, where is it? Verse 15, neither shall he profane his seed among his people. It means he's not going out playing the harlot monger. That he's supposed to keep himself clean, right? He's supposed to be upright.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excuse me. Don't breathe spit. Okay.
Good idea.
All right. So anything else from 21? Oh, this is talking about the blemishes too.
Yeah.
Broken-footed, broken-handed, crooked back, dwarfs. Blemish in his eye, scurvy, scab.
What is a flat nose? What's the significance of that?
I don't know, but every time I read that, it reminds me of those cartoon characters with the flat nose. They look like they've had their nose comes out like it's been broken, and then it's all flat against their face.
So is that maybe just a broken nose issue thing? Or was that like a deformity, birth defect? Or
I don't know. Maybe it's what they called a cleft lip back then.
You
ever seen how when someone has an uncorrected cleft lip, it like spreads their nose out?
Mm-hmm. Well, and don't Down syndrome, don't they do that?
Not that I've really noticed.
Yeah.
I've worked around a lot of those guys and women too. Downs people. Oh, now Alvina wants to show up.
She must have been sleeping all day, playing with her bird or something.
Uh-huh.
Didn't want to read.
No. I'm kidding. I'm not going to sick Colonel Sanders on you. Okay. We would like you to come back and read, though.
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay, let's go to 22, since none of us are priests.
And I was reading on that one, so that one's yours.
I did not get anything until quite a way down. What jumped out at me is verse 27. When a bullock or a sheep or a goat is brought forth, then it shall be 7 days under the dam, so under his mom. And from the 8th day and thenceforth it shall be accepted for an offering made by fire unto the Lord. I guess that's okay, but what about seething a kid in his mother's milk?
Right, and I was just getting ready to say that, because isn't that what that means, is you're not supposed to kill one until it's weaned?
Well, but seethe, is that boiling? Seething?
Right.
Is it?
Seething boiling a goat in its mother's milk. Boiling a kid that's got
I don't know. Seethe. Okay, it's a verb of a liquid, bubble up as a result of being boiled. I don't know. Maybe that was some delicacy in Egypt that he didn't want them doing. I don't know. Anybody? Come on, spit it out.
Well, that's huge, because you've got people that's part of the, a lot of the Orthodox Jewish community has separate kitchens
for dairy.
That. Yeah. To not have milk and meat on the same surface.
Yep. Same meal. That's why the person who invented tofutti, that tofu ice cream or soy ice cream, is because he wanted his, I think that's what the story is, he wanted his son to be able to have some type of frozen treat for his bar mitzvah. So he invented a whole new series of food.
Interesting.
Uh-huh. All right. What else you got? Anything else from 22? No?
No, that was the same thing that I was thinking of, that you brought up. So I was like, well, that's different than the other thing.
Verse 31, there we see it again. I don't know, this is probably like the 15th time I've pointed it out. Therefore shall ye keep my commandments and do them. Okay, let's go on to 23. 23. I scribbled something down, but I was reading, so I don't know what it is.
The Sabbaths.
Right.
I saw a really interesting, there's a guy that's done some extensive work on the Enoch calendar, and he was talking about the Sabbaths, and when in heaven they're talking about the 24 elders and 12 and something else, they have to do with these Sabbaths.
Right. Yep, that's right, Sky. All right. So verse 14. And you shall eat neither bread nor parched corn, so no dried corn, nor green ears, so no green corn, until the selfsame day that ye have brought an offering unto your God. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. So you don't eat any of it until you give the first fruits.
So with us not in this right now, how would we give first fruits? How do we give offerings?
That I try to do it through like homeless people or needy people I know that have a need.
Mm.
You know, what really can you do? I mean, you can give it to an organization and have them be the middleman, but then how much gets to the people that need it?
Mm-hmm. No, I'd rather give it directly to somebody that needs it.
It is not man-made, but it is a grain. It's a grass that's been hybrid. It's been crossbred and crossbred and crossbred and crossbred over and over and over until they got corn. There's many different types of corn. If you get a chance, look up the Apache legends for what people's got what color corn. It's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting indeed.
So our yellow corn's not our natural color corn?
There's a lot of different kinds of corn, many different types.
Natural corn, not hybrid?
Well, natural corn is no such thing.
Oh.
Right? It started out as something that probably more resembled the corn you get in Chinese food.
Oh, the
little corn cob. That's just early corn though, but probably started out something similar to that, and then they kept going and going. If you know, put it in the chat.
Well, it's interesting that he would even accept that then.
You can have a cheeseburger, Sky. Eat one for me, since I'm not eating that anymore.
Well, but you can have your veggie burger.
My black bean burger.
Your black bean veggie burger.
Yep. Now, check this out. This hit me when I was reading it, right? Because this is going over the feast days, and these are the fall feasts. So we just went through this, right, with Passover. Okay, on the 10th day, what do? Right, on the 10th day of the first month, they select a lamb. They find the unblemished lamb that's going to be sacrificed for the Passover. And then that's on the 10th day. So here we have the 10th day of the month, of the 7th month. It's the beginning of the second half of the year, right? So the first 6 months, and then we have the second 6 months, the 7th month. 10th day of the 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. What is that? Well, that's like the lamb, right? Right? The lamb made atonement for us. And then we keep going, and then we get down here in 34, and the 15th day is another week-long feast. So each half of the year starts off with this big, massive feast that has to do with a covering and a protecting of us and removing sin and reflecting. I don't know. It just struck me as.
Well, I when you say that, I notice a difference though.
Right.
In the first one, it's unleavened bread, and it's more of a do without. You know, it's you remove those things. On the Sukkot, it's more of a celebration.
Right, but it's after atonement, which is
Sure.
your souls. Your souls? Fix your souls. Okay.
You guys have been hanging out with me. What's the deal?
You and Landon.
Picking up some Southern stuff.
You and that Landon boy rubbing off on me. I love you, Landon, wherever you are. Dodge.
It's been working.
No. Okay, no guilt tripping. Look at that. I'm threatening to call Kentucky Fried Chicken on Alvina for a bird and then making fun of Landon. Oh, my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Look at that. Gwen must have the day off.
I was filling in for Lynn Saturday, so it's your turn today.
Right?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, but either way, unleavened bread, I see it now as like this big kind of party. I do. I mean, I like unleavened bread, though. And it's good. It's yummy. And I was really spending, this is the first time I was really able to devote the whole week to it. Funny how all this stay-at-home stuff worked out. But it was pretty cool, reflecting every day on the feast and just what is it and what does he want us to do and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm really looking forward just to coat this year.
Well, hopefully you guys in Arizona will find you a place.
I don't know. Somebody said they were going to have it at their house a couple of years ago when they didn't.
That wasn't me.
Well, no, I'm saying in Arizona.
Oh.
Okay, 24, I didn't get
Aren't you out of town somewhere?
I'm in the unincorporated county, so I'm surrounded by businesses and trailer parks and what else?
Gotcha.
Businesses, trailer parks, and interstate's pretty close. Train tracks are pretty close. It's like they don't even want to come down to this area to assess it, to see how much they can tax us. They're like, nah, we'll just build. That's like, I tell people jokingly that I live in the county between Tucson and Marana, but the way that the boundaries are drawn, I actually live between Tucson and Tucson. Right? So there's like a U shape or a C shape cut out that they didn't want anything to do with.
So they just keep building around it.
Yep.
Funny. Well, y'all can just all get in the car and head this way.
Yep. We could. So do you got anything for 24? I didn't write anything down.
The thing that I had on this one was that's where, a lot of times we hear the first thing that struck me, and I don't know why, was the 12 cakes with the frankincense.
Right.
And, part of that is they use frankincense as part of the oil in the temple, but it's also used as a medicinal. It's a healing. It's used for healing.
Right. Well, the frankincense that they actually use, I think, is it's not an oil. It's like sap, dried straight from the tree.
Rock type thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know why that struck me. I thought that was interesting. Why is he doing cakes in a row with frankincense?
Right? Let's see. There we go. I'll screen share this. So this is what it looks like. It's basically sap. There it is next to a little jar of oil right there. I bet that stuff is so pungent.
And it's expensive.
Yeah. Yep.
It's expensive to process. I know if you get good quality frankincense oil, it's pricey.
Right. Yep. All right. Speaking of yep, where's Emily? Yep.
Yep. Well, and then this is also the chapter where the eye for an eye, tooth for tooth.
Right.
That's
Beast for beast.
mm-hmm.
And that's the one that gets me is, so much of the law tells us to take care of strangers and sojourners. Treat them well because you were a sojourner in Egypt. And then, but that's what so many people point out. We're supposed to allow just as many strangers and foreigners into the country as possible. But then they don't look at 22. You shall have one law, one manner of law, as well for the stranger as for one of your own country. But they don't do that, do they? Okay, let's see here.
No, I mean that's the deal. They want to the country divided up into its own little countries, and it's like, well, no, you come into this country, you accept what's here. Huh, good question.
That is a good question. That, if they were Irish, should be Pokey McSharpstick. No? Okay. All right. In 25.
You didn't see that coming.
What?
Oh. The enforcer.
Right?
Just where the mobs came from. The mob enforcer.
So 25 is all the Jubilee and the land Sabbaths. Let the land rest. Boy, we do not do that.
Oh, at all.
No.
And you're really letting it rest longer than a year.
Right. Well, that 49th and 50th year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to replant everything after that.
Well, I didn't mean rest. I mean, you're eating the crops off of what was the 6th year for 2 years.
So what did they have for food preservation back then? Dried food, dried fruit? Surely they had dried fruit because it mentions dried raisins, dried grapes.
Well, they had storehouses.
Yeah.
So like their grain and stuff like that could be stored. Honey doesn't go bad.
What, honey?
So yeah, probably dried and smoked, like smokehouses maybe.
Maybe. Cheese is thousands of years old too.
Yeah. Well, but cheese will go bad depending on the way that it's preserved. But this is crops, so they would still be able to eat milk and meat and things like that.
Right.
They just can't eat the crops.
Well, cheese is interesting because the harder the cheese, right, the more you can squish the water out or liquid out, the longer it'll last.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, you have a lot of those cheeses, they put wax and things around it, and I'm sure that they had wax.
Right? They had beeswax. Mind your own. Where'd that saying come from? Mind your own beeswax?
Maybe beekeepers. Maybe variety of people were. I would think that more people were beekeepers at one time. Probably had maybe your own. But you can also preserve eggs with oil, like you can preserve eggs with lime. lime water. You can brush them with oil, like olive oil, and preserve them. So,
Oh, true.
I'm guessing they have different ways. You're right. You can put. I saw this thing on a homesteading thing where eggs, you can put them in water with lime in it and preserve them 8 months. You just can't clean them. They can't be washed eggs. I haven't tried that, but
Okay.
I can't do either.
Yeah. We'll just go back to the Bible study. How's that? Okay.
What were you looking at?
You don't want to know.
I know. Okay.
So in verse 49, I'd probably say this every time I read it, but the law of the kinsman redeemer right there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what some people claim that is how Joseph of Arimathea was able to claim the body of Yeshua, of Jesus, because he was Mary's uncle. He was the nearest living relative. But I don't know where they get that connection from that I can document it. But it is what they claim.
When I saw a documentary on the possibility of the gap that we don't see anything of Jesus from the time he's 12 to about the time he's 30.
Right.
There's evidence that he was actually in England.
Right.
With his uncle, which I thought was really, really interesting.
Right. Well, I know there's supposed to be a proof that he traveled to India as well with the same guy.
Apparently his uncle was like a copper trader.
Tin Man.
Or something.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay.
Well, what struck at me on this was if you go to verse 14, we're going back backwards. In what I'm reading, which is the Scriptures 2009, it says, "You do not exploit one another."
Right.
And that is a stronger word than is used. That's really a different word that is used in King James.
Right. Did you look it up in the Strongs? Leviticus 25.
Let's look.
Mine's just taking forever. Oh, 14. What was it? Oppress is what it says in the King James.
Mm-hmm. Is that oppress? Yeah, that's really a different word than exploit.
Right? It's Hebrew 32:38. Yana on your neighbor. Okay. A primitive root, to rage or be violent. By implication, to suppress, to maltreat. And then it gets into the multiple definitions. Destroy, thrust out by, oppressing, oppression, oppressor, proud, vexed, do violence. Interesting. And yours said extort?
Exploit.
Oh, exploit. Yep. All right. Okay. Since nobody's spitting stuff up in chat, or at least pertaining to the study, we'll wrap this one up. So everybody, thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget, day after tomorrow, we're going to revisit Time's Almost Up. So hopefully you all have watched the video series on that and taken a lot of notes so we can have a good discussion about it and what it's bringing to your mind looking at that. And look forward to it. And then we'll be back on studying again this coming Sabbath. So thank you very much, Dee, with the reading.
Thanks.
And I love you all. We'll see you soon. Night. Bye. Bye. Good night.